What's up guys, Toasty here, Get Burned. Today I'm going to bring you guys some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 fan feedback, and today I just wanted to do a video talking mainly about characters, because characters were a big thing in Xenoverse that people really did not like because, there weren't enough of them to satisfy their thoughts and needs for Dragon Ball Xenoverse. A lot of people come from BT3 or even the Raging Blast series to where there were a lot of characters, and they really like having a lot of characters. The Dragon Ball fanbase in general, when they are talking about games, most of the time, they are really focused on having a lot of characters. The only time that this isn't a case is in the Budokai games, because the Budokai games, even though they didn't have a lot of characters, they did have a lot of difference, or at least seemingly difference, from other characters in the game. So Goku was different than Cooler, Cooler was different than Cell, so it was kind of something that made every character a little bit more valuable. And in the Budokai Tenkaichi series, when there were a lot of characters, obviously those characters were a lot less different from each other than in the Budokai games, but they were able to be playing as multiple characters, from ones that you wouldn't even think you'd ever be able to play as, a pool in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Frieza Soldier, all types of characters that are even, sometimes people think they are so minuscule they shouldn't even have a place in the game, and that's a different discussion for another time. But in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, they just had a lot of, missing characters that were really important in the Dragon Ball storyline that a lot of people really missed and a lot of people really wanted to see played. Thankfully, for people who play the PC version, this was able to be kind of fixed by mods. A lot of people made the characters that, were missing in the story and put them in the Xenoverse, although, and sadly in Xenoverse, you would either have to write over character slots or do something like that instead of actually being able to make your own character slots, or, character, sides for, Goku. If they wanted to make, Kid Goku and all that stuff, they would have to take a slot from GT Goku. And, that is kind of a sad thing that we weren't able to have slots additionally. But yeah, there were a lot of missing characters that some weren't even ever modded because, some, I guess, don't find them important enough to be modded. So today I kind of wanted to talk about what characters I want to see in Xenoverse 2 that are important to the Dragon Ball storyline, in my opinion at least, and ones that I want to see for you guys. What do you guys want to see in Xenoverse 2 for characters? I know that there are probably a lot of characters you were missing in it, and first of all, I just want to say, obviously, Majin Vegeta is a main one because, really, who really did not love Majin Vegeta in the Buu Saga, or who didn't at least want to play as him in Dragon Ball Xenoverse? That was something I really wanted to see, Majin Vegeta, and that was never brought to light, sadly. And I really, really hope that they're definitely going to be putting him in Xenoverse 2, because really, what point is there then to not have him in there? I mean, he was a really, really huge portion of the Buu Saga. He was very important, and it was a main point of Vegeta's character development, showed a lot of his character in the fight between him and Super Saiyan 2 Goku. So I'm hoping that that is in there, as well as if there's going to be a story. I want to see a Majin Vegeta versus Goku Super Saiyan 2 fight being done in the engine and all that stuff. I want to see that, because that is something that was, in my opinion, for me when I was a kid, very important to me in the Buu Saga, and hopefully that gets brought to light. Other characters, Doria, Zarbon, even though these characters are kind of minuscule, in the Frieza Saga, they were pretty important, or at least in the beginning part of the Frieza Saga, they were really important, and I really think that they should have had some sort of place in the game, especially if characters like, Bardock and all that stuff are able to get in. I mean, yeah, Bardock is a fan favorite, as well as people like Broly. That's why Broly got in among a lot of other movie characters, some that people think are better, who didn't get in, because, these characters are fan favorites. That's why Super Saiyan Bardock's also in the game, is a fan favorite. People really love Bardock, people really love Broly. Frieza's forms and Cell's forms, this goes without saying. We even have the model of normal first form Cell in the game, but he was never playable. The only way to play him is through mods. That sort of thing should and needs to be ironed out in Xenoverse 2. There's literally no reason for you to not have him in the game. You could say he's unimportant, but his model's in the game. I mean, if you're gonna have a game that's based around fighting, you might as well include every piece of the story, every character from the story that you can into the game. The story having no real use for normal Cell and, second form Cell and, second form and third form Frieza, it's not really an excuse to leave characters out that were important to the storyline of Dragon Ball back when it was happening. Another character, Android 20, Android 19. Android 19 was a character that, even though he was really short-lived, because, he was mainly there for the beginning, for Goku to kind of show that he had the heart virus, and then when he left, Vegeta destroyed Android 19. Still, this character, I think it should be in the game. I don't think it would have been really hard to make him as well, because people have tried to mod Android 19, and it really doesn't seem like it would be that tough. Dr. Gero or Android 20, I really think he should be in there as well. Also, we need to have Deborah. I don't understand why Deborah's not in there either. Deborah is a character that I think that even though he was in there for mainly the beginning of the Buu saga, really wasn't a major character, still should be in there, especially since, you know, he did fight Gohan in the Buu saga beginning. I think that he really should be in the game. Anyways, there are a lot of movie characters like, you know, Dr. Wheelo, which I honestly don't care for Dr. Wheelo, but I know that there are people that do out there. I mean, Dr. Wheelo, even though he's like an early movie character, and I honestly cannot care enough at all about him, he still, I think, should be in the game, at least in some way if you can implement him. I know Dr. Wheelo would be a little bit of a hard thing to put into the game, but yeah, I think that he should be in there in some way, shape, or form. Garlic Jr., Turles, Lord Slug, Broly's obviously already in the game, of course. Cooler, Meta Cooler. I think that these characters should be in. Super 13 was a pretty cool character. I think that they all should be in. I mean, Raging Blast 2 kind of got the main thing of what I'm talking about. I mean, they made a lot of the characters that were their own character. Like, you know, Majin Vegeta was his own character. Ultimate Gohan was separate from adolescent Gohan, or I guess you could say like older Gohan that was in high school. And, you know, there were a few different types of things in there for that, but then they had some unimportant characters that I really did not agree with, like Dor, Salza. Like, I mean, Cooler's squad, even though, you know, the squad was, I guess, important in the movie, they don't really need a spot, especially like people like Dor. Naizu. I don't think that they deserve a spot in the game over other characters that could have been in. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. Obviously, we need the other forms of Buu, Super Buu, because why? I mean, it wouldn't even be that hard to literally give him, you know, the form of, you know, Super Gotenks or, you know, Super Buu Gohan Absorbed. Like, I mean, even though a lot of you may say it's a lot harder to make characters than you think, yeah, that could be true. Although a lot of the moves that he would use are already done for him, or at least mostly done for him. Like, obviously, Super Ghost Kamikaze attack for Super Buu would have to be different because the ghosts on Super Buu for that are with his head and not Gotenks' head. And, you know, Super Kamehameha is already in the game for him. A lot of characters in the game already have Super Kamehameha, and I just don't see a reason for them to have left out those forms of Super Buu. Again, people say that it's because of the story. I honestly really think that they should have in some way implemented those forms of Super Buu. Those forms are really important, especially in the Buu saga. They were really important in the Buu saga. It's the reason that Ultimate Gohan lost against Super Buu is because he absorbed Gotenks. So I really don't understand why those forms were left out. That's just something that, you know, was, I guess, just something they didn't get to have time to work on or something like that. But in Xenoverse 2, I don't think there's an excuse. I think they definitely need to include those forms in the game. You can include Pikkon. I don't really know. I mean, he's a filler character. He's a character that was completely made through filler. Yeah, he was a fan favorite, or people really liked him in the older games as well as, you know, the newer ones like Raging Blast 2. So if you do want to put Pikkon in, I would say that I would like to see Pikkon in there as well. I also want to see Janemba. I need to see Janemba, man. Janemba, I think, would be really awesome in Xenoverse. They can make a really awesome moveset for him. I think that would be amazing to see Janemba done in Xenoverse, as well as a story sequence with Janemba. That would be so awesome, man. Especially, I want to see a Hell stage like that. I want to see the Hell that was in Fusion Reborn done pretty much in Xenoverse's engine, kind of like how it was in Raging Blast 2. I need to see that. That, I think, would have been amazing. Tapion, character that was, you know, not extremely important in Wrath of the Dragon, but, you know, a lot of people do love him, and he was in BT3 and a lot of the other games, so a lot of people really do want to see that guy return. I don't really blame a lot of people because Tapion himself is kind of like a walking Legend of Zelda reference, and I think that he was really cool in Wrath of the Dragon, so might as well bring him back. Hyrudegarn would be a lot harder to do because he's a giant character, and I know that giant characters don't really work that well in Xenoverse's formula. You guys can look up the Great Ape gameplay that people have modded to have, like, you know, the Great Ape's bodies and like walk around the map. It's a little bit clunky and a little bit awkward, so I can imagine them not bringing Hyrudegarn into the game. I think a boss battle would be really awesome though, to fight against Hyrudegarn in, you know, a Wrath of the Dragon sense. I think that would be really cool, as well as to have like a really awesome cutscene for the Dragon Fist. I think that would be really cool. Although, as a playable character, I do not think Hyrudegarn could get in, so that's just something I think personally. Chilled. Chilled is one that a lot of people kind of wonder about, because Chilled is really, he wouldn't be that hard to make, because he's honestly first form Frieza, but he's just a little bit different than it. He's got a little bit of a different body structure. He's a little bit chubbier, wider at least, and that's really it, and a bunch of color changes. And Chilled is seemingly not that hard to make. That's how people have been able to mod him so quickly. When Xenoverse came out, people were able to make Chilled within a few weeks. So Chilled himself, you can even make him in the character creator. Obviously, it's not a completely, like loyal to the movie, but people can mostly make him in the character creator. So I think that Chilled, he can make it in, especially since you have Super Saiyan Bardock in. Why not have like a side story for Super Saiyan Bardock versus Chilled? That would be really cool, and I would like to really see that, but that's just what I personally think. Baby Vegeta, personally, this is my favorite villain of GT, so this is mainly me talking about this one. I really need to see Baby Vegeta in Xenoverse 2. He's the only GT villain that was actually left out of Xenoverse. They have a Tuffle Planet stage where they fought Baby, but they do not have him in the game. I still don't understand this. They've modded him on, for Vegeta. They've modded multiple Baby forms for this. The fans have modded so many, and I think that they can bring him into the game, and I think they need to bring him into the game, man. I'm just saying, but this is for me personally. Baby Vegeta and Baby in general is my favorite villain of GT. I think he's the best one, especially compared to like Super 17 and Omega Shenron. I think he's got the most depth. I think he's the best character. I think that he should need to be in Xenoverse 2, especially with, kind of a story sequence for Baby, just like how we got for, Xenoverse 1, although it only highlighted the grade 8 form of Baby. I need to see the actual Baby playable in Xenoverse 2. That needs to happen, in my personal opinion. I think that we need to also see Oob. Oob was a character that was brought into near the end of Dragon Ball Z, and I guess that could be, your excuse for not bringing him in, but Oob is pretty important, at least in GT, Majub and all that stuff. So, well, not important, because, mainly GT was about Goku, but he is a character that a lot of people do want to see, kind of expanded upon. A lot of people really like Oob for some reason. I personally don't like Oob a whole lot, but, a lot of people do like Oob, and I think he should be in the game at least, because, he was in the older games, and he wasn't really in the newer ones though, because they haven't included like him in Raging Blast or anything like that, which is weird, because even though they're called Dragon Ball Raging Blast and not Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast, they mainly include Dragon Ball Z characters. There are no GT or Dragon Ball characters in Raging Blast 1 or 2, only Dragon Ball Z, but they didn't ever include Oob. That's what I kind of find weird, I'm sorry, but I find that weird, because they include characters like, as I said before, Dora and like all of the characters that were really unimportant in the movies, and they don't ever include Oob. That's kind of weird, and they've never done that, I don't think, since Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing Oob in any game since that point. So Oob would be really cool to have return in Xenoverse 2 for, an actual new character, because, I kind of really want to play as him. Majub as well, but I mean, if you're going to include GT, which they already did in Xenoverse 1, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it in Xenoverse 2, need to see some Majub action. I think that they can actually have a really cool moveset for him, kind of how his moveset was in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Think that would be really awesome. I would hope they don't do the turn into chocolate thing with him, even though he could do that. I really kind of don't want to see that in him, because, Majin Buu in Xenoverse, for those of you who don't know, his chocolate attack is really, really annoying. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but yeah, that's what I personally think. I don't know about Sin Shenron. I know a lot of people really want to see Sin Shenron in the game, but I don't know. It's just like a pre-form of Omega Shenron, and it really doesn't have that much difference. That's all I could say. I really don't care that much for having Sin Shenron in the game. I mean, if you can, I guess do it anyway, since, it's not really that far from Omega Shenron, so it's not going to take a whole lot of work. But yeah, I don't know. That one's a little bit frizzy for me. I don't really have that much feeling of needing Sin Shenron in the game. Small ones, Android 16 needs to be in the game. I don't understand, man. He got Android 17 and 18 in the game, but you don't have Android 16. He was also a big part of the Cell Saga. He is the reason Gohan went Super Saiyan 2. Why is he not in the game? Why is he not playable? I don't understand it either, but they need to add him in the game as well. Chaozu, this is a little bit of a questionable one, because he really isn't that important in Dragon Ball Z standards, and he is kind of weak, but he was in the games like Raging Blast 2 and stuff like that, as well as obviously BT3 and all the other games before that, besides Budokai and he should be in the game, I guess. You know, really, he's a Dragon Ball character that was put into Z. Obviously, he didn't have a lot of importance in Z, but I still think that he is something that, since this is Xenoverse 2 and not Xenoverse 1, they can add him in. I think that that would be a really cool addition into the game if they added Chaozu in. And honestly, I think that that's all I really care about for Xenoverse 2's roster at this point. I mean, I probably missed quite a few of them, so if I did, make sure to tell me down in the comments down below what you think I missed and what you guys want to really see in Xenoverse 2 in terms of its characters. What characters do you want to see added into the game that weren't in the original that you really need to see again? Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd really like to see what you guys think. And yes, that is it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like down below, as well as subscribe if you do want to see more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 fan suggestion videos, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day, and peace out.